Welcome, everybody, to a Thursday night edition of Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports. Last night I had something come up at the last minute, so we didn't do a podcast last night, but I'm sure, and Kelvin didn't speak to me the rest of the night. I didn't hear from him, so I think he was a little miffed.
I was so prepared for that. And then if my brain with the chemo brain I have in 24 hours, I kind of lose some stuff, but had more podcasts today I listened to, so there's more fresh stuff in my head. So
there we go. We got good stuff, fresh stuff, and probably regurgitated stuff because I listened to a couple of podcasts today that talked about the football interviews yesterday. I'm really excited to talk about those today. I love, we're going to hit these all in due time, but I love the conversations that they had with both quarterbacks yesterday. They both were very impressive, and Hank Brown has come a long ways in his interview. He's so confident right now. You would be surprised if he's not starter.
Yeah, you're right on target, because that was my thoughts listening to it, and then Zach Heine, I just got done listening to his live, and his comment was that Hank Brown is way the better interview than Heck, which doesn't matter in the football race. But I thought that yesterday. I thought, boy, Hank Brown is like, and you got to be a good talker and leader in the huddle. So yeah, I noticed that too, Dean. Good observation.
If we could pick a starting quarterback based on how he handled the media, he wins. But anyway, we still have to pay our bills here, and so I am obligated to run this cocaine coffee ad. And I know you guys, let me know if you guys order that stuff and what you think.
If you need a pick.
So we are part of the Villains network, whether it's media network or sports network. I'm not sure what we're calling it nowadays, but it's all the same, the Villains. So we have fun with this. There's only 2 Hawkeye shows on this Villains network, but there's all kinds of good stuff on there. If you guys just want sports in general, or just have fun and games. There's just something for everybody on this network. But just to get back to the cocaine coffee, I got that scrolling here. If you go to cocainecoffee.com and put in Villains 15, you can get 15% off of your purchase of coffee.
Yeah, if you're a coffee drinker, I hope you try it. Or if you have friends and family that are coffee drinkers, give it a shot for them. So.
Yeah. Also, we would like to, not to forget, we did not pick up any additional viewers since Sunday, or subscribers. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that button. It's right there in front of you. There we go.
Yep.
And then hit the like button. The like button is really important. And then share it with your friends. And by all means, comment. And if you guys would like to join the show live with or without your picture, you can put your voice on here and not your picture if you don't want to. Just click on the link. It's posted right here in front of me, in front of Kelvin. And it's also the very first couple of comments at the very top of the comment sheet. So it should come out pretty good. So come join us, and we could always use an extra voice or two, an extra opinion. Last week, I believe T. Hink joined us on here for a little bit, and that was fun. So, okay.
Hey, Dean,
Yes.
do you mind if I share some 3 or 4 short things right at the beginning to get them out of the way?
Yeah, I was going to ask you where you wanted to start because you put this agenda together. So I'm going to let you decide where we go and how we start.
Well, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but I wanted to say it over a week ago, but somebody I covered in high school, Lynn Kennedy, who was a very good forward at Iowa, probably played with Ice Edwards. She was from New Jersey, I think. She passed away. She was only 60, I think, 61. And at the time she graduated, she was one of the all-time leading rebounders at Iowa, a 6'1" forward. And that's way too young to pass away. But unfortunately, we lost her last week. She was in that first 3 recruiting classes of Vivian's, 2 or 3 recruiting classes that got us going.
Sounds like she was around your age, so I'm surprised you were able to cover how much. Can't be that much younger.
Yeah, she's younger than me. I think 60. I'm 64.
Okay.
And I started doing that right out of high school.
Wow. Okay.
And it was anyway. Sorry about the bad news. Another bad news today was Mr. Moon, the guy who funded Iowa so well. He gave like $5 million for I don't know if it was is it the north end zone that's been rebuilt? And they
I think it's the south end zone.
Okay. It's the end zone that Penn State could not make their calls on. Only one of the end zones is full of seats, and it's that one. And anyway, I think he gave $5 million for that. He gave Iowa money, during COVID to help the athletics out, and I'm sure he gave to academics too. But anyway, him and his wife, I should say, fund Kirk Ferentz's salary every year, and I'm sure that will continue on. But he suddenly passed away today. I'd say he's about 69 or 70. Him and his wife.
That's pretty young considering I'm 70.
Yeah, and I would presume it was like a heart attack or something, but he will be greatly missed, and I would not. I mean, Brad Heinrich spoke up today, and he said there surely will be a patch on the uniform or a sticker on the helmet, this year, because
he's the Moon family head coach, right? Or however the official name is.
And he gives millions I'm sure he gave millions to Brad Heinrichs, and he was just the nicest guy. He owned the world's largest truck stop. His parents did. And he met his wife at the University of Iowa. She was a dentistry student. She's still alive. His mother passed away probably 10 years ago or so. But anyway, I wanted to mention that. Also, tomorrow, the big deal. It's the bale toss competition, Soul and Beef Days. Cade Pieper back to try to win it for the third, fourth year in a row. And I'd put in a new guy in there to watch out for, the House of Parliament, Hudson Parliament. If he ain't back, I suppose the football players are on campus right now practicing. They take breaks once in a while and go home, every few weeks.
Now, if you listen to the interviews yesterday, the coaches are on a break. Yep. The players must be working out on their own then, because one of the players mentioned that the coaches were on a couple of week break right now.
Yeah, Coach Lester's on a month break because he's been doing a lot of podcasts. He did another one today. It took an hour. I listened to from 4:30 to 5:30 today, and but I think the weight coaches are still there working and stuff. But anyway, the bale toss is tomorrow. Also breaking news that Miles Davis, a terrific shortstop, is transferring from Oklahoma. He didn't get to play much at Oklahoma. And anyway, he's in that, what do they call that? The North, it's not the Appalachian League. It's that summer league that all colleges are at. The last 2 weeks, he's been like player of the week, batting like 700. And he's a shortstop with 3 years left because everybody has 5 years, right, Dean?
Mm. Yep.
His name's Miles Davis. And he went someplace to college, and then he transferred to Oklahoma. Didn't get to play enough there. Oklahoma's one hell of a university, you know, for baseball. And now he's coming to Iowa. And then
right, we're gonna just catch us up. Tink is on here, and first of all, he says it's the north end zone. He said Brad donated 7 figures to the Swarm. Brad used a lot of his own money, apparently.
I know that, but so did
Kelvin, do you have any idea about Caden Daughtry? Is his name Caden?
Well, everybody knows about Caden. You know, that was part of our news when I got to that. Today he scored 42 points. He hit a 3-pointer to put in the overtime. He's a player of the week. He might end up being the #1 recruit in the nation. He started a month ago, number 25, and now he's number 10. And today he hit a 3-pointer and make it go into overtime. And then in the first overtime, they were behind by 2, and I seen it on videotape. He went, you can actually watch this on TV, I guess. And today in the first overtime, they were behind by 2. So he just dribbles through everybody. And at 6 foot tall, he goes in and dunks to put the game into a second overtime. I don't know if they won or not, but 42 points later today, you know, he's averaging like 36 points a game in that big deal, you know, whatever it's called.
Okay. Alrighty. Hink says that players are on summer workouts, so you were right with the strength coach.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess the other coaches, I mean, actually, when I listened to Lester's interview, he did say that he's supposed to be on vacation, but he's watching film of other teams.
Well, he's today his podcast. He was on his cabin in Michigan. You know, so I'm sure he's also paying attention to that. You know,
well, he said he took his laptop with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're going to work like that. And anyway, I wanted to say just before we come on, Iowa got another transfer pitcher named Piero, a young pitcher from some small school, Gulf Coast or something. And anyway, I guess his brother's quite the high school pitcher. They're hoping to get him to. And that's my baseball. Okay. And I think those are the things I'm looking here. Oh, other 2 things that are real quick. Jack Campbell had a baby named Cooper yesterday, a baby boy. And Jack Campbell was interviewed on something, was that by Listico and Doctorman at a restaurant in Cedar Falls. And
the OP.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know which OP they were at, but they were at an OP.
But anyway, it was in Cedar Falls, Waterloo area. And anyway, Jack Campbell's biggest thing he said, you know, was some people, I would think most people would like this. He said, if Beth Getz does not hire Seth Wallace, there ought to be an investigation. He said he's the greatest coach and great man, great leader. And he said he's the one guy there that will continue the program as a developmental program and continue on much like Kirk. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was Jack Heflin, who I didn't know this. Of course, he transferred from Northern Illinois and played great at defensive tackle in the COVID year 2020. I didn't know he was a walk-on from Prophetstown, Illinois, from a hog farm. just like Brett Bielema was, but he walked on it at Northern Illinois. And anyway, his comment was, this is his 7th year of pro football. I think he's been with 8 different organizations. In 4 of them years, he has gotten to play. So he's got 4 years of experience in. He's with the Jets this year. And he said, again, this shouldn't make anybody mad. It's positive about an Iowa coach. He said, playing at Northern Illinois and all those NFL organizations, he said no coach has compared to Coach Ferentz. He said he's the greatest coach, and he said, I'm starting to think that he probably wherever I go, I have played for the greatest coach. And then he said Coach Wallace and, well, he said Coach Bell, but he said Coach Wallace and Coach Phil. He called Coach Wallace and Coach Phil co-defensive coordinators. And he said it put a light bulb in your head playing for that Iowa defense. So that's all my little news I had to hit to begin.
All right, I'm going to catch up on these things, okay?
Yep.
Toll House says Daughtry sounds expensive. T. Hink says Peach Jam. I'm assuming that's what's going on right now with the players that we were talking about. Said T. Hink says get him Toll House. I don't care how much we have to pay, basically.
Ben has the money. So.
Okay. All righty. All right. Nick Slick says, I love Iowa baseball news. Welcome home, Miles. Heller does a great job of getting Iowa kids back that had a pit stop or two along the way. I did not know that Miles was an Iowa boy.
Yep.
Okay. Toll House says we should offer Campbell's kid a scholarship immediately.
And we'll have another kid that we can yell from the stands and yell, Coop, Coop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool that he named him Coop.
One more thing about Daughtry that probably hardly anybody else knows, I found out today. Guess who Daughtry is related to?
Chris Daughtry, the singer.
No.
Okay.
He is cousins with Brad Banks and C.J. Jones. And he's also cousins to Antoine Bolden, who didn't play at Iowa. But
okay.
And I'm pretty sure Daughtry will come to Iowa the way it sounds. It was like Iowa and Michigan. Now Michigan's coach is gone. And it's Iowa, Michigan, Miami, Florida State. UConn's got another point guard they're recruiting too, but I think he loves Ben McCollum and Bennett Sturts. And
he's a better fit for Iowa than anything else. He won't fit at some of those other schools. Okay.
I think anybody will fit at Iowa the way McCollum coaches. But.
Yeah. Okay. Nick Six says Chad and Doc had the interview with Jack Campbell and Ike Buttiger. I could say it if I didn't have to read his name. Okay. Yeah. At the OP in Cedar Falls. Do you know which OP? Because I used to go to the one on University a lot. There used to be one on the hill, but I don't know if it's still there or not. Spent a lot of time on the hill. Okay.
Now we're spending a lot of time over the hill.
Yeah. Bob Hoffman
I thought it was funny, but
yeah. Bob Hoffman says got tickets to take my son and 2 grandsons to the UNI game, about 300 total. Yeah, I think that's what Jason said. That's about what he spent for the UNI game. He's got he's got tickets for Iowa State, and he bought tickets for Iowa State and Ohio State. But for the Iowa State game, he paid what about you paid for the UNI game.
Iowa State was officially a sellout today.
Yep. Anyway, he goes, he spent $300 total, wanted to take them to the Iowa State game, but didn't want to spend close to $1,000. how many grandkids were you taking to that game? Because I think Jason spent $180 a piece for the tickets for
No.
the whole Ohio State game. The Iowa State game cost him like $150 a piece. Okay. Nick Slick says Frank Garza was on Matt Randazzo's show. You probably saw that.
Nope.
He was very complimentary of Ben and said that they have been playing phone tag but love watching the run to the Elite Eight. They are Hawks for life. Oh yeah. You know when Luca didn't go to the NFL when he could have. I mean, not the NFL, but the NBA when he could have, and came back to play his final year. Man, I thought we had with that and the Murray twins. Oh my gosh, Jordan was still on the team. Man, I thought that team was going to make a run at least to the Sweet 16. Things just didn't work out that way. Alrighty, let me take a look here. I got the agenda here. Let's see what we want to go on to next.
One other real short thing while you're mentioning, I know it's on our agenda, was the one that mentioned Brad Heinrichs. Of course, we know the swarm's over with and all that shit. But he said on his interview with Washed Up Walk-Ons, which I don't think he ought to say it is, he says, Hank Brown's our starter, like that. And then he goes, none of the coaches have told me that or anything. You know, I thought he shouldn't have said that, but if that's just his opinion. But
who said that?
Brad Heinrichs. You know, because
So
I know for sure that neither coach has any idea who's starting. You know,
no.
So.
According to everything I've heard, that it may go into the first 3 games before they settle on a quarterback.
And now everybody, because Brad said that, you know what everybody's going to say?
What?
Well, Kirk's already made up his mind, you know, and Kirk ain't even picking the starting quarterback. It's Lester's got it. When he signed the line with Kirk for the job, he wanted to pick his quarterback, and Kirk goes, run your offense and pick the quarterback. You know, okay. I will not overrule you unless something drastic. You know,
okay.
So
Toll House says, I cannot wait to see the crowd reaction to the new Iowa State coach after what he said at halftime of the Iowa State-Iowa game, basketball game.
That ties into something.
You know what? You know what though? With
what?
That being a night game and all the tailgating going on, dude, those fans are going to be amped up so much.
Yeah, but that ties into something. The Lester Pod I just watched, that deep dive podcast. He says I've been here 2 years at Iowa, and every time Kirk Ferentz said in front of the team at the start that he was pissed off at the other coach, he says we have buried that other team, and you know who they're talking about. You know, PJ Fleck won that one game and danced on our Tiger Hawk. So, you know, Kirk don't like PJ, and we have just buried him 2 years in a row. You know, probably by a combined score of about 78-10 or something. And then Matt Rule, you know, had the run in with the Iowa team.
We'll never forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I bet Kirk mentioned not shaking hands and that Matt Rule's players walked right through us, and we just buried Nebraska this year. And Lester said to Kirk, he said, please, can you, like, even if you're not mad at the other team, can you make up a lie and tell it before every game? Because we'll win a national championship. And Kirk goes, no, that's not the way I work. And Tim goes, yeah, I know. So anyway.
I wanted to point something out. Chad Lysico in his 90-minute interview with Lester yesterday, he asked him about, you know, because, you know, fans are always saying that Kirk decides on the quarterback, calls the plays, and Lester set the record straight. He says ultimately it's his decision, but he will always, before he makes a final choice, he will go sit down with Kirk and say, Kirk, what do you think? And then Kirk will throw it back at him and say, what do you think you should do? He said that's usually how their conversation goes, but he says ultimately it's his decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I really didn't hear the one I really wanted to hear because, about the play calling, because although I don't believe Kirk calls the play, I still believe that he lets him know when to dumb it down and when not to. Yeah. And I just like to know if that's actually true or not.
Lester commented that he, like I think maybe we mentioned it on the last pod, I can't remember, but Lester said, like, the year we beat Washington and the year we beat Minnesota by a lot of points, he said in the second half, he said, I quit calling big plays because I didn't want to show all our big plays to the future opponents, which any coach is going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said and that's what he said. He says, if you're already up quite a bit, he says there's no point in running, your exotics and your aggressive downfield plays and stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't say exotics. It's just that I'm just a Hayden Fry person, so I got Hayden Fry terminology stuck in.
And then he said a year ago up at Minnesota, when they were ahead and they called this goofy pass play, and I think it got picked off or something. And Kirk just said in the headset, we're averaging over 8 yards a carry. We might want to lean on the running game. And Lester thought, yeah, it's pretty dumb of me not to keep running the ball. But
yeah. Anyway. All right. Nick Slick says Lester doesn't seem like a guy that will roll over for Kirk. I have loved listening to these interviews with him this summer. I would say of all the coaches that get interviewed all summer long in the offseason, he's one of my favorites because he's kind of candid. He doesn't bullshit. He just tells it the way he sees it, and he's got some great stories over the years too.
Yeah, but he is a little bit like Brad Heinrich. Sometimes he loose lips. Like today. Today he said something he shouldn't have. He said the deep dive pod is actually about eating at favorite restaurants and all this shit, but they mostly talked about football today. And had Tim Lester on, and he goes, Lester says, we name some of our gadget plays is what he calls them. He calls them gadget plays instead of exotics. He says, our gadget plays, I name them after my favorite restaurants. He said, like last year we ran, you remember the Wigan Pen where Vanderzee threw the ball to Vanami for the touchdown at USC?
Yes.
To go up 21-3 or 7, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he goes, this year we got a variation off that, and it's called the Flying Tomato. There's a Flying Tomato restaurant. And I thought, why would you tell the opponent that we have a variation off that?
Because they got to figure out how to do that variation, how to block it.
Well, I know that, but now they got it in their head that if they see the Wigan Pen coming, with that reverse pitch back to Vanders, what is the handoff?
The Flying Tomatoes going to be saucering down the field.
I can't remember it, but wasn't it like a direct snap to Wetchen cutting across, and then he pitched it backwards to Vanderzee, and Vanderzee hit Vanami at the cone in the end zone.
Yeah.
So now when they see that coming, they're going to say, it might not be the Wigan Pen. Wait
a minute. I thought that was Vanderzee throwing a touchdown pass to Gronk.
Was it to the quarterback?
I think it was to Gronk.
Okay.
He caught.
Your memory's better than me there. I think you're right. So.
All righty. Here's some more stuff I want to read.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk is just happy he can coach the lineman for 10 minutes a week. He got permission from the position coach. He didn't get permission from the position coach. The position coach asked him to do it.
Because Kirk is a great pass pro teacher. Mm-hmm. That was what he was great at. he brought modern pass pro blocking, and your tackles have to be great at it. They're out there on an island, and he teaches the tackles for 10 minutes every week. I think it's on Tuesdays or something. And
yeah, he's in heaven doing that. I think when he finally does retire, his thing will be to the new head coach. I ain't retiring for you until you guarantee me a line coach job.
or he'll be an offensive line analyst or something. I'm sure he doesn't want Barnett to lose his job.
Well, that's true. But okay, Lester's a math guy like me. This is from Nick Slick. So I always knew he was smart, but man, he's so charismatic too. I know it. That's what the very first time when they introduced him, and he started talking, man, I thought, I like this guy. If he can coaches and get results at half the way he can talk, man, we're in a good shape.
He said everything's math. He explained today, which I didn't understand. He said, if the other team is in a shell defense, he said, I think it's a shell defense where they have two safeties back. Is that the shell defense? He goes, if they got two safeties back, we're going to run the ball almost all the time because you cannot stop us running the ball with two deep safeties. If they have one deep safety, we're going to throw the balls. Vanderzee's going deep, whatever. And then he said, no defense can stop the run with two deep safeties. And he said, except two. He said the Seattle defense, they play two deep safeties all the time, and they're so good up front that you can't run the ball against them, that Super Bowl team this year. And he said the only other defense can do that is Phil Parker. He said Phil almost always has two deep guys, and he goes, you still can't run against him. So.
Yeah. All right, Grace. Nick Slick says, but yeah, I have thoughts of listening to the Lester talk on these podcasts. Oh crap! I love the info, but Kirk's going to be pissed. And I kind of thought the same thing too. Is he saying too much in some of these interviews?
Only when he's like there where he said, that they got a variation off the wig and pen. He shouldn't have said that, but.
Hey, he's feeling comfortable with all these interviewees.
I know that, but he's supposed to be a football coach.
But I mean, some of these podcasts that he's going on, I didn't think they were any popular, or you know what I mean. I just some of them podcasts they have like 500 views in like 2 minutes. Oh yeah, because when you get like Lester on there,
like to eat at restaurants are going to watch the deep dive podcast. All these women are, So
yeah.
Anyway.
Toehouse says, I think the potential recruits love those podcasts. Probably do because they're getting. He talked about I think with Chad yesterday. I think he talked about a recruit that he brought in, and he was showing him something. I can't remember what. Anyhow, I couldn't remember it without taking notes. I can't remember everything.
He's made comments about showing Bessinger about when he come for the Minnesota game. That see right here where Gronk didn't throw it deep. We're going to have you throw deep because it's wide open for a touchdown. Yeah. And then he told Diaz that we don't have anybody like you, but on this play here, see if you got any speed, you're going to get a touchdown. And
it's like he was talking about. He showed one of Gill catches a pass because he said he goes. Well, I think I was going to make a quote on this to see what anybody thought. Lester said he told the team, he goes, we're getting better at catching the ball, guys, but NCAA made a new rule. You can run with it after you catch it.
Yeah. He said he had a bunch of freeze frames like where
one was Gill. One's with Gill.
He said one was Gill against UCLA where he's behind everybody by 8 yards. He catches it and he stops the film and he just says to everybody in the room, you think we got a touchdown on that one? And everybody goes, oh, yeah. And then he clicks on it and Gill falls down. It's like catch the ball and fall to the ground. Quit that. You have legs, By the way, today he did that podcast from that cabin up in Michigan, and he said one of the questions was, "What's the first time you ever met Kirk Ferentz face to face?" And he goes, "After I was hired, I walked into the building and met him." He said, "Right here where I'm sitting in this cabin, I did a FaceTime interview." He said, "I didn't even go to Iowa City to meet Kirk or anything. We just had this long interview, and I know Beth Getz sat in on it, you know." And I think Kirk had Tim Lester in mind the whole time. He wanted that West Coast, what's it called, Shanahan offense, and so.
Oh yeah. Here's another good one. Yeah, I just think I was going to say something first. I'm trying to think what my train of thought there was. Oh, the reason why Kirk couldn't talk to him before was because Green Bay, I think, was still involved in the playoffs and stuff, and so
Yeah, but he could have made an in-person visit. I mean,
yeah.
he traveled up to his cabin in Michigan. He could have traveled the opposite direction. Iowa City was probably closer from Green Bay than the cabin over.
Yeah, but before he was hired, he's told the story that he drove to work at Green Bay, and then he said something about he got out of the car, and the first thing is somebody asked him about, "Have you heard from Iowa?" And he goes, "No, should I?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think they want to talk to you." He goes, "You mean they haven't hired that spot yet?"
Yeah, he knew it was open for 2 months. He said when he got let go up to Western Michigan, he was gonna. Georgia wanted him to be an analyst, and he decided that Munchen, the famous head coach now, was the Georgia offensive coordinator, and he wanted Tim because they knew each other from Elmhurst, and he said anybody that can win 10 games at Elmhurst, the worst football school in the history of mankind, I want on my staff. And he was thinking about going to Georgia, but he didn't know about college football anymore. And then Green Bay called, and he took that job. So, of course, he knew LaFleur. LaFleur played for him or something. The coach.
I forgot which school he said called him. Oh no, it was a pro team wanted him to be the quarterback's coach, but he said he ended up saying, he'd take care of the quarterbacks in the meeting rooms and stuff. He goes, "Oh no, you're not running the meeting. I'm running the
Was that McVay?
Whoever was the coach, the head coach was going to run the meetings, and if he can't for some reason, then I will run the meetings." He goes, "Well, what am I supposed to do? Just take notes and maybe work on some skills?"
Yeah. Was that McVay of the Rams? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I just thought, his stories are so cool. I had no idea. Anyway, and okay, so Toehouse says it's so nice to see the defense is not loading up the box like they did for several years against us. They can't anymore. They're going to get burned when they do.
I think they kind of did last year, but because Gronk wasn't doing anything the first half of the year hardly, except at rush.
But he got better. We should have listened to people who said that an FCS quarterback would take a little more time to get adjusted to the Big Ten, because Minnesota's took a half a year, and damn near took a half a year for Gronk too, but he was also injured.
You got more questions and comments?
Yeah, I got one. Nick Flick says Matt LaFleur FaceTime LaFleur. You know who I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. FaceTiming with Lester and sealing the deal with Bessinger and his dad was a great story. Yeah. That was.
We covered that a previous podcast.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that a lot of his stuff has become the same because he's doing all these podcasts back to back. And
one thing before I forget it today, he made the comment. I think it was Phil or some famous coach told him, if you want to speed up learning football, when you talk to a real expert, listen and do what he says. That way you can skip several steps. and Tim said today that, Tom Moore's only been there for 4 months or whatever. He said, every day I get to skip steps because Tom Moore will look at something and say, why are you doing that? And he says, every time Tom Moore will bring up Peyton Manning, he'll bring up Dallas Clark.
Name dropper.
They got a play. They got a play that they just put in from his playbook. It's called Every Team Runs It About, called Colt, and it's all about Peyton Manning throwing to. It's like
Dallas
three deep, three guys I think slanting, and one of them turns up the sidelines, and it was always thrown to Dallas Clark. And he said Tim Lester said that Moore said, I put that in the playbook when I had Scott Mitchell at Detroit, and he had the worst footwork in the history of mankind. So we put in a three slant pattern, so we could work with his footwork. So anyway,
Speaking of footwork,
he said I learned so much from Tom Moore in 3 months, and he says he's 87 years old, but he's sharper than anybody else.
Well, I think he also mentioned in the interview that last year Hank Brown had one of the worst footworks that he had seen on the team.
Yeah,
his footwork wasn't good at all.
He said Hank Brown had the quickest feet, the best feet, but the worst footwork.
Yeah.
And then Moore has improved Hecklinski's footwork. That was famous. We talked about it last podcast about Hecklinski not pointing his front foot towards the receiver when he threw he was running parallel to the line of scrimmage when he threw, so he's throwing against his body. He grabbed the quarterback coach by the arm and jerked him. That was from the quarterback coach talking. And he said, tell him to step towards the receiver on that. A lot easier throw, and you get a lot more powerful throw. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
any more comments?
No, the comments have dried up, and also, gosh, where was I going with this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you made me forget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you ever get stuck.
Oh, I wanted to talk about Diaz. Okay. Diaz was also a great interview yesterday. I don't remember a lot of what he said. You might remember. Mm-hmm. But the thing that sticks out about me is that everybody, coaches, players, teammates, are all high on this guy. And I'm taking a wait and see attitude. And I think it sounds like that Lysico and Document are also taking a wait and see, because every year we get these receivers hyped up and they never pan out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him saying why he come to Iowa. He said, I had a visit scheduled in Alabama a few days after my visit to Iowa. And he said, I come in, and he said, off the football field was important to me too. And he said, Kirk Ferentz, Tim Lester, and what's his name? Bud Meyer were so honest people talking to me. And he said that Tim Lester sat him down with Budmeyer and told him what he could do. And he just thought, and I think Iowa paid up for Diaz too, because we needed something like him. If Alabama's wanting him, he must have had one heck of a season last year. And
he talked about how that
I didn't even take my visit to Alabama. So
yeah, I mean it. He also Diaz also talked about his first year at the school they had was the first year they had football, and all they did was practice and scrimmage against each other, and
no game.
They asked him how hard that was with no game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cyhawk C Money. Good to see you, Cyhawk C Money. Been a while since we've seen you on here.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone talking about Diaz. Don't jinx it.
I don't know. Everybody's talking about Caden Daughtry and Diaz. So anyway.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Daughtry's the highest rated recruit that we are so close to getting. He's coming in for the Iowa State game. So is Matt Bowen's boy, by the way. Lester in his podcast today, he said, from Little League till the 8th grade, I played baseball with Matt Bowen, which is new information. But Caden Daughtry is like, this takes me way back. Like when I was losing sleep at night, wondering if we were getting Terry Cummings, Doc Rivers, Isaiah Thomas, Deion Thomas, Ray Thompson, guys like that were at the top. They were at the top. Russell Cross, they were at the top 10 recruits in the nation, some of them higher than that. That's where Daughtry is, so maybe I'll start losing some sleep again,
Yeah. Okay. Some of out of the football interviews yesterday, is there anything else you want to highlight on the ones that they talked to?
It's like if you mentioned each guy, there wasn't a lot. Like you came in with the great observation about how good Brant Brown's interview was so much better than much more meticulous, longer answers, more professional than Hecklinski, which doesn't mean anything, but I know Lester said in that one interview, I think was that with Listicow, that Vanami is Clark all over again as far as the way he runs with the ball and he runs his patterns, and then he said he blocks like Hawkinson, so that's about as good, because Vanami needed to improve his blocking. Who else was interviewed? Vanderzee and stuff.
I think LJ Phillips might have been.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of like big takeaways. Yeah. You don't get a lot of big takeaways unless they tell you some interesting story from players. Hecklinski was interviewed, and Brown and Merriweather. Okay.
All right. Cyhawk C-Money says we need some breakaway touchdowns from the receivers or running backs this year. Yeah. That's the one thing we missed last year. We missed Johnson so much last year.
Lester in his pod today said he's a numbers guy like Donnie Patterson. He talked about Donnie Patterson only comes to practice about once every 2 weeks, and he might turn in some analytics once a month for the most part. But Lester said he did analytics at Elmhurst himself. He's big on math, just like Patterson. And he said, the number one analytical thing, he said, what do you think the number one analytical thing is that almost guarantees you to win? He said, turnovers are big, but the team that wins the turnover battle wins about 79, 85% of the time. But he said, there's one that's 98% of the time. It's yards per completion. If you have a passing game, it doesn't matter if you're completing 70%. It's better to complete 60% and have some big ones in there.
Yeah.
He said that kills another team.
All righty. All right. McNeil and Moulton need some breakaway touchdowns this year. Hecklinski taming it down. Let's see.
What?
Yeah, I'll get to it. I messed up. It down with a bit with risky throws, ? Hopefully doesn't lose that killer instinct. A balance is good. We need hang on, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Skyhawk C Money says need super explosive plays this year. I would agree that we need more explosive plays than we're accustomed to having.
Yeah. Somebody made a dumb comment on a podcast today, and I commented down below. They said Kirk always picks the quarterback that's safe. And I go, that is totally wrong. I said Kirk would have never switched to Ricky Stanzi, Mr. Pick Six. He would have never switched to the crazy Drew Tate I mean, he was like almost uncontrollable as a quarterback. And I said he'd have never picked Beathard over Rudock. Rudock was this robotic quarterback that always checked down and threw the right place. But Kirk has said, I want the leader in there, the guy that makes things happen. So I don't think that I think Kirk thinks that Hecklinski, that's a positive that he is. Kirk just wants the ball to move down the field and beat the other team,
Yep.
So
I believe that's what he said. He says the idea is to move the ball down the field and score.
When you run out of comments, Dean, which I know you won't, tonight's pretty busy, but start putting up them 5 pictures when you're ready. So
okay, alrighty. Stanzi pick 6s versus Indiana. Okay, alrighty.
His first game against Pittsburgh was awful.
Yeah.
They put him in there, and I think it was 3 interceptions. I think we lost, but anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna put the first picture up.
What is it?
I believe this one is the guy shaking hands with.
Yeah, that's the guy that left the program this week, Terrence Smith, who was fairly highly recruited out of I think Aurora, Illinois, and his name's Terrence Smith, and he just ran into trouble at college. He was a really good basketball player, could have went and played basketball, and I think he was from Aurora, Illinois, and he was our only scholarship freshman last year, and he just didn't impress the coaches in practice. He kind of lacked physicality, kind of played like a basketball player, and he didn't handle anything at college well. Social life, academics. Most people are saying academics is one of the reasons that he's gone, but he also was like not in the top 9 wide receivers as far as being impressive in practice. But he was a good athlete. Some people said, I think he'll end up at Texas Western or Iowa Western this year, junior college or something. I don't know, but he just had trouble adapting to college life academically, the physicalness on the football field and everything. He's a very fluid, like a basketball player. And anyway, so he is no longer on the team. I suppose it's possible, to come back, but I would doubt it because we got way better young. We got some walk-ons that were ahead of him, that were freshmen and sophomores. So.
Cyhawk says, I'm grilling brats tonight and listening to Hawkeye football talk and drinking a cold beer. Don't get any better than this. Go Hawks. I agree. By the way, guys, before I put up the next picture, okay, hang on for a second. Maybe T. Smith can take the Sean Green route. There you go. I was just thinking that when he mentioned that, could he come back? Because Sean Green left the team and he came back.
What?
Okay.
Yep.
Also, okay. So what was I just want to say, guys, if you go to scroll to the very top, or if you want to click on that link right there underneath of us, you guys can come on this show. You do not have to show your face if you don't want to.
No.
So that's fine. You can keep your face faceless if you want to come in and talk a little bit about a certain subject, and we'll discuss with you. So I just want to put that up there. But the next thing is
next picture.
Next picture. This
that
is the Harper Winter. Is that her name? Harper.
Yep. She visited Iowa as a freshman last year. She's from Kansas, I believe. Maybe it's Overland Park or it's someplace down there. Anyway, she was like a sensation as a freshman. She's like a point guard, off guard. I think last year as a freshman, she was 5'8". She's probably 5'9" or taller now. But anyway, she visited last year. That time we had Nation Williams and Soybert and Chloe Nicholson, Chloe Johnson, the Murray sisters, whatever their names are, from Minnesota. We had a bunch of players in. Riak was in.
I remember all them.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And anyway, she visited last year, and this week she got an Iowa offer, and she put it up on her Instagram, and so right now, I think she's has visited. I would say Kansas State would be a team that might threaten because it's a nearby school. But anyway,
Well, here's a question by Seahawk. It's a good question.
mm-hmm.
And I know that Brad Heinrichs did a thing on 3 on it. And
Mm-hmm.
Will the Storm Collective dissolving negatively impact recruiting and retention of players?
No.
Okay.
It'll help because now it's like Brad explained. I had people that I promised money to, and they went to these signing events, and then the clearinghouse didn't approve it, and so they didn't get their money. The way they got it now is Beth's going to put it all through Learfield, which is a big company, and she's got other companies. The revenue share, the coaches will decide how, but these extra ones, like if you want to sign Lucy Olson or Nation Williams or Bessinger, Hayden Daughtry, now they'll put that through Learfield, and Learfield will say they're paying them to appear on their broadcasts. So it'll clear it all up, and Brad can still donate money to the flight. Mr. Moon, who passed away, his family can keep giving $1 million to flight instead of Swarm. So anyway, it'll be great. What's your next picture?
Okay, this is the incoming freshmen reporting in their current weights and stuff.
Yep, the first one's Traden. Is his name Traden Bessinger?
Yeah.
6'5", if I remember right, 213, which
yep.
I like that he's went from 198 or 190 or whatever to 213. So and Lester commented on him the other day that terrible footwork. No, it was Brant Brown. Or Hank Brown. He said,
"Yeah, we talked about that already."
Yeah, terrible footwork, but a superior arm. He didn't need to have good footwork or fundamentals playing high school football, But he's going to get it now. And Lester said he's drinking through a fire hose. You can tell that Lester's been around Kirk Ferentz for 2 years. He's using Kirk Ferentz language, drinking through a fire hose, the offense is just a blur right now. Oh my gosh. So anyway.
Okay. C Money says, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Learfield helps with the big time recruits, but I'm talking about the lesser players.
All I know is everything going to the flight funds and funneling money through Learfield and the other ones. You're going to have as much money, but it'll go through the clearinghouse. The revenue share, where Kirk gives a walk-on free tuition, I don't have to go through no clearinghouse. That's revenue share doesn't have to go through the clearinghouse.
All right.
So there's no drawbacks to this,
Okay. Do you know if Bessinger broke all the basketball scoring records like he wanted to, when the reason why he waited to come to Iowa late?
Well, I know he wanted to win the state championship. I don't know if he did that or not.
Okay.
I don't know. He was much like Kyle McCann. Kyle McCann was a super basketball player off guard at Iowa Falls, I think it was. And so he's very, very similar in size and basketball ability to Kyle McCann when he came in 99 or in 2000, whenever he came. But
Bob Hoffman says, been listening to Coach Patterson's analytics over the years, and it's great material.
Yep.
Okay, I can't really read all those names.
Okay, the next one, if I remember, was Kayon, the Thomas kid from out to Sioux City, who reminds you of LeVar Woods. And LeVar Woods and him were really good running backs in high school, but you took it down?
I didn't even put it up because I don't think I have that one. Do I?
It was the weights of the incoming guys.
Oh,
You
okay.
just added
Never mind.
up. I think it's Kayon Thomas. And anyway, he's like, that ain't it.
Okay.
That's the all-star team or something. Anyway, Thomas is up to 200. I think he's 6'2", 230, which he's growing just like LeVar Woods did. You can't even read the names or anything, Dean?
It's kind of hard for me, but let me try. Okay. C Money says, I looked it up. Yes, Bessinger's team did win the state championship.
Cool.
Alrighty. Hang on for a second. Let's see what I can do here. Well, you know, it would be easier.
I can say a couple of them off the top of my head. It's like one of the guys that was the lowest recruited offensive lineman was Witters from Iowa City West, and me and Elliot Clough, we agree that he's a big time sleeper, and he's coming in at 314 pounds. So that was very impressive. The great wide receiver, Brody Schaefer, who do not be surprised if Brody Schaefer, who reminds everybody athletically of Cooper DeJean from Wisconsin, that Bud Meyer and Tyler Barnes found. This kid's like 6'1", 195, maybe 6'2". Great basketball player, track, football, baseball, everything. If he don't play some at wide receiver this year, he might come in there like Vanderzee, and if we didn't have a really good receiving core, he would play. He's on the list. And then a walk-on, David Faison from Cedar Rapids Prairie. He's only 6 foot tall, but he weighs 270. That kid is such a great athlete. He was a running back, tight end, linebacker, defensive lineman at Cedar Rapids Prairie, and I'm very high on him. It'll be another walk-on you story. People say, well, he's only 6 foot tall. Well, what's the difference? You know, don't matter if you're 6 foot tall playing on the defensive line as a defensive end or defensive tackle. He's already 270. He'll probably be 305 by next year. And be happy, boys. Don't worry about it.
Be happy.
Can you see any other names on there?
Got Luke Brewer at 6'4", 239 pound, true freshman.
And he's reclassified. He was supposed to be going into his senior year this year and one of the top tight ends in the country. And he reclassified. I remember Jason thought he was going to Tennessee or someplace. And I go, no, he's coming to Iowa. And I don't understand why tight ends would go anyplace else. And I can't believe how much he weighs now. It's like, obviously, Barnes and Braithwaite are like telling these kids, this is what you got to do with the weights and eating. And please come into Iowa a little bigger, you know. That's just like, that's great. That's great. And we had Abdul Hodge on the agenda. He gave a podcast and he went through every tight end, you know, on the team, and he said Brewer's just a tremendous prospect, you know.
Okay, alrighty. Seahawks says, will LeVar's son stay at Iowa with such a loaded room? I
think so. He called him Abdul Hodge. I guess we're kind of covering Abdul Hodge now, what he said. He said he is Noah fan. He's going to be just like Noah fan.
Hopefully with a better attitude.
Well, he's up to two. I don't know if the coaches ever complained much. It was mostly about Noah's dad.
Yeah, you know, or his brother or his cousin or something or nephew.
Noah, he said he's just like Noah because Noah came out of the Omaha area. He was a 3-star defensive end. And when he come to Iowa, you know, the Nebraska coaches said, we didn't want him. He ain't going to be no good. He's first-round draft pick. He come in at 190 pounds, and he left Iowa at 247. And Mason Woods come into Iowa, and he's probably going to be like his dad. LeVar came in at 6'1", ended up being 6'4". You know, I won't be surprised if Mason ends up 6'3", 6'2" now. He come in at 190. Now he weighs 230. You know, that sounds just like Noah Fant, you know?
Yeah.
And and like LeVar, I don't think LeVar wants him at Michigan State. He said when he left, he said, my kids have to go make their own way. You know, he said his daughter went someplace way in the South to play volleyball. And he said that was the best thing for her, to get away from family, you know, and become independent. So I bet you Mason stays at Iowa. Of course, the tight end room is packed. So
Yeah.
anybody else on that list? You got more comments? What?
Okay. Well, you talked about Colin Withers already at 329. Okay. How about wide receiver Isaiah Alava?
That's Dean's boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was always put together good. You know, I think
5'11", 199.
Yeah. And he runs like a 4.55 40, something like that. Real good long jumper and stuff. And basketball player, of course, not as good as his dad at basketball, but another walk-on for Walk On You.
Yeah. So. Did you talk about Noah Daniel and Eli Campman? Both are D-backs.
No, I didn't. Campman is, of course, Aaron Campman's boy. I thought he'd be a linebacker, but they have him at safety. Is he like 6'2", 190 or something?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Daniels. Daniels is
6 foot 197.
I can't remember if Daniels is a safety or wide receiver. Another walk-on who's a very good athlete.
He's listed as a defensive back here, so we don't know.
Safety then.
Okay, how about linebacker Brayton Alford?
Yep, he's a walk-on that came in late, and he's a linebacker. And is he like 6'2", 210 or?
He is 6 foot even, 211. So you were close on the weight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's all the freshmen we have. Okay.
Next comment or picture, whatever you want to put up, Dean.
Let's see what this one was. Wait a minute, that one's removed. Okay. What's this one? Oh, do you want to get into this? The Fever All-Star viewing?
Yeah. I guess the top two vote getters were Paige and Caitlin, so neither one were picked. It was just like a coin flip, which one went on what team.
Right.
You know? And then they started picking, and thank God Caitlin's team had the next pick. Then we got Asia Wilson. And holy shit.
Yeah.
The best player in the world. And then they got Asia Wilson's teammate, that real good forward that has all the assists, rebounds, and points. Mm-hmm. I can't remember her name. And they got Olivia Miles, who's might be second in the MVP voting this year as a rookie. You know, and plenty of people off the bench. Jaquez Jones is like a 6'6" center, and Eurofin, another great rebounder. You know, and anyway, you can read any of them you want to, but
no, that's fine.
I
don't want to struggle. I don't want to struggle that way.
Yeah, I would go with Caitlin's team as long as Miles twisted her ankle last night.
So Miles ain't playing, probably?
Well, the All-Star game ain't for a week, is it?
Okay. Well, sprained ankle, we'll see how it heals.
She'll probably come back, and Caitlin hopefully will be feeling all right. And they got the bench is so deep. The WNBA's got a lot of good players on both teams, you know, so somebody's a little nicked up or something. You got plenty of people. I think Alyssa Tom. No, I think is her name Gray. That's the point guard for Vegas. I think she's a backup to Caitlin, and so on and so forth. I'm not sure. But.
Yeah, I'm starting to lose it with my leg here.
Okay.
Okay, C Money wants to know, do you know what's happening with our linebacker room?
It's a deep. I pretty much know that we always have trouble with his name. We know Montgomery's starting in the at the what do they call it, weak side linebacker, whatever it's called, and the great one's going to start this year at middle linebacker. I don't know why. I always have a brain cramp on his name, and I know his uncles and everything. The great linebacker, Dean. Buffington. Here we go.
Yeah.
Cam
He's
Buffington.
not great yet. He's not great yet.
He's going to be great. You know, we got, and Keckridge will probably be the Leo linebacker with Rees and Weiskopf and DeLong, who's a walk-on, and Goucher. You know, they're just so deep at linebacker, it's ridiculous. And you get Juju Manson and Wivolda as true freshmen, probably playing a lot of special teams. Carson Cooney, you know, it's just so deep. After this year, it's like people in the Iowa football offices are talking about, I hate to say it, like if they can just spend a lot of money this year and have Pieper and Laut and Lutmer and Vonnegut come back, they're talking about we could win the national championship. I mean, the coaches are talking that.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
so deep.
All right. Toll House says Caitlin and Angel Reese on different all-star teams, probably a good plan. Gosh, guys, I think we need to. I think I need to end this. We haven't got to men's basketball, and that probably take us about 45 minutes to an hour by itself. Maybe we can do that on Sunday. We can start off with that. I know it'd be old news by then.
Kate,
but right now I can't handle it any longer.
Caitlin and Reese always play good together. You know, as far as that goes, that comment.
Yeah. Okay. Another comment. Toll House. I really love women's softball. I hope Iowa gets some good recruits and has a better season. Hey, Toll House, did you see the interview we did with the head coach a few weeks ago?
You got another comment?
Yeah. Okay. That was the last comment here. I'm gonna continue going for a little bit here. I want to run our commercial because I got to make money. So I'm going to do that right now. So guys, get ready for your cocaine coffee.
Yeah, maybe you walk.
All right. Okay. Remember to go to cocainecoffee.com and order your order and use Villains 15 for your 15% off. Okay. I'm going back to the comments. Okay. All right. We got a new one. All right. Okay. Oh, Toll House said he did see the head softball coach interview we did. He goes, it was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Didn't go quite the way I wanted it to, but it still worked. It still worked.
And she might come back.
And she might come back. And then we can ask her the way we wanted to talk to her.
Oh, whatever. It was fine, Dean. So.
It was fine. I know. I just I had an agenda and series of questions, and I let Jason take over, and never got back to where I wanted it to.
Well,
Okay,
it was fine.
but it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
We got to learn a little bit about her philosophy and her recruiting and things like that, and what her needs are for this next season, which I believe was a left-handed batter, and she didn't. I don't think she got that yet on the transfer
Oh, yeah,
portal.
yes, she did.
She did.
Yep.
Okay.
I checked some of them, like some of them were recruits, high school recruits, and
Mhm.
one might have been a transfer or something. But I looked to
Yeah.
see if they said bats left.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but I can't quote any names, so.
Yeah. So anybody know with last night's game with Caitlin and stuff, I heard that it was another she got beat up again. I didn't get a chance to watch the game because I didn't know it was on, and then she left the game, but did she come back?
Yeah, she came back in and out, and she played more of the second half. And she brought them back in the second half, and then they took her out. And then this Chen girl that played at UConn, she came from the Ivy League, and then she went to UConn, a tall Asian point guard.
I know who she is. I know exactly who she is.
The backup, that Harris, could not guard her, and she just drove to the hoop. And they had almost maybe tied the game or something, and then it was back up to 12 points. And I was disappointed I never don't criticize Caitlin, but I was disappointed. She claimed that she was fouled hard, and I watched the replay over and over again. It was, she wasn't. And
Well, she sure went
then
after that ref.
then she went down to the other end of the court, and there was a foul on Indiana, and she went nuts after the referee. The referee did not call a technical on her, but probably should have. So I was a little disappointed there. If you get hit, complain to the referee that you didn't call the foul. But that was not it was Tia Stokes, Greg Stokes' daughter, I think. And it was not, I watched that over and over again. It was not, what Caitlin said it was.
All righty. I think this is a good place to end it. We'll cover the basketball stuff on Sunday because we'll probably need some more filler anyway. I apologize to you guys. It's just the restless leg is flared up all day, and it comes and goes, and it's back right now. And so I can't sit, I can't stand, I can't hardly do anything. But as you can see, I'm moving around and standing right now. So I apologize that we're going to cut this podcast a little shorter tonight. We did intend, we had some good stuff with the men's basketball I really wanted to get to, but we'll do it on Sunday.
Okay.
All righty. Guys, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for
the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button. Please hit it. I mean, we didn't get one after Sunday's show. Can I at least get a couple after today's show? Share it out. Share it out. Chen Seahawk says Chen versus Ty Harris was a total domination. Yes, it was. Okay. All righty, guys. Thank you for watching, and we're going to end the stream and see you on Sunday. Sunday.